Hello, everyone, and welcome along to the latest This is the Music Meets podcast, an independent podcast show that shines a light on rising artists from the new music scene across the UK and Ireland. If you're new to the podcast, then please hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any future episodes, and feel free to leave us a 5-star rating and written review, as your thoughts and comments do really help us beat the algorithms on Spotify and YouTube. So it's time for episode 95, and today's guests are Leeds-based, London-born five-piece Coppa Londra. So it's a warm welcome to the This is the Music Meets podcast, Freddie and Leo. Thanks very much for coming on. How are you both doing?
Good. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
We did it, Mark.
We did it.
The three of us taking on the world together.
Yeah.
I love it.
Beating technology.
That's it. Brilliant. Yeah, no, we've had a few issues there before recording this, but yeah, we're all here now. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing and hearing even about your story so far. But just kind of like, obviously, we're still kind of like getting over that Christmas and New Year sort of lull. So yeah, how was your Christmas and New Year, and did you get anything sort of Christmassy this year that was on the musical sort of side of things?
I didn't get anything. My favorite present. I didn't get anything musical, to be fair, because I'm the singer, so I have no gear whatsoever. You know what I mean? They're like lugging drums about, and I'm like just swinging my microphone above my head. It's just like, oh, it's so heavy, boys.
Yeah, the microphone is not even your own microphone.
yeah, exactly. I don't perform anywhere unless they provide me a microphone. You know what I mean? Like, that is necessary. But no, I went out on Christmas Eve, and I got back at like 4 a.m. because I'm very cool, you know, obviously. And then I
lead singer.
Yeah, lead singer, proper bad man.
Yeah.
And then I got in, and then my mum had left out my Christmas jammies for me to hop in, very rock and roll. Yeah. And that was like, oh mate, they are quality, man. And that was my favorite Christmas moment, to be honest with you. But yeah, what did you get?
I just got quite a lot of clothes. My mum was a bit worried about me. I think she thinks I dress like a tramp, and she's not wrong. And so she was like, do you want to get any clothes this Christmas? And I was like, why are you asking me that? And she was like, well, I don't know. I just think you need some new clothes. And so yeah, I just sent her a load of things. I got some new.
What a brat, man.
It was pretty. It was just a load of pants, socks, and shirts. Really, nothing too musical, nothing exciting.
Yeah, he makes his pants musical all on his own. He doesn't need it provided for him. But yeah, how was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was all right. To be fair, it's pretty low key. Yeah, not a great deal going on. Yeah, I think the most musical thing I got was a pair of socks with some guitars on it. So yeah, yeah, fairly standard, fairly classic, I guess, as well, in a way. But yeah, it was all right. And New Year don't really tend to bother going out now. Spend all night waiting at the bar before you know, 5 or 6 people deep. But that's probably because I'm just old and don't go out much anymore these days. But kind of like, then obviously we said there in the intro, obviously you're currently up in Leeds, but you're from London. So kind of like, then how did you all meet? What was, you know, Leo, you just said there about you being up at uni at the minute. I'm guessing, Freddie, it's the same for you as well?
No, so I've graduated uni, and I'm just working at the moment, working as a TA, and Leo's not.
Yes, so all my stuff's just online because it's actually affordable if you do it that way. You know what I mean? Like, but Dexter goes to Leeds. He's in Amsterdam at the moment. He's very he's proper bohemian. You know what I mean? He's out there like philandering around,
taking in the
with
art.
all the Dutch girls. Yeah. But no, like I was working. I didn't go to uni. He went to Reading, a very prestigious university where, you know, very, very top level uni.
Yeah. Top level students as well.
Top level students, top level uni.
With bright futures ahead.
Yeah. And it's, you know, like, when I guess what it is like Dexter was up here, and I used to come to Leeds all the time because I used to date a girl that went here for uni. And so I really liked the city. And we just wanted to we released the song under our last name, We Were the Q's, and we released a couple songs. One of them in neutral, did pretty well, like better than we actually expected it to do. and everyone wanted us to play gigs and all that. And because everybody was in different cities, and Freddie had finished uni, and like, I don't mean to speak to you, but didn't really want to go back in with your parents.
No, yeah, I wanted to move on and try, and I felt like I was going backwards if I went back home.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go somewhere, and Leo enticed me with the idea of Leeds.
Yeah.
And living together, of course.
Yeah, exactly. we can tickle each other all the time. You know what I mean? Just anytime we want. We can make a fort out of our pants. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just sick. But like, yeah, so we've been up here for like a year and a half. And it's good, man. It's good. I feel like we need to kind of, I think our goal for this year is to kind of get more integrated into the actual scene.
Yeah.
Because we came up here with a bit of an ego, I reckon. Just in terms of like, you know, when you're in a band, you believe in yourself and you think that you're the bollocks. And I think in terms of the songwriting, I think we have something different to a lot of other people. Because what I find is a lot of new rock music is derivative. And I think derivative music's kind of pointless, because it's like, why would I listen to something that sounds like something else when I can just listen to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I think like we came up with that, and that belief that we were something different, which you can still have, but also like, I don't know, like you start playing gigs and all that, and you realize that you haven't put enough time in with the practicing and all that. So you have to eat a bit of humble pie. And
we hadn't been a band for that long. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
We hadn't practiced that much, and we were just rushing through practice sessions to get ready for shows that we weren't ready for.
I would basically go, all right, we've got no money. We need to do our own show. And like, that was like that's our source of income, isn't it? Because like, you know, we're skin. So we just go, okay, we're going to put on our own show. We'll actually make the money back, because promoters, you get fuck all. You know,
yeah. It's too late now. You've
You've got past the point of no return.
No, honestly, it's absolutely fine. Not a problem. You carry on, fella.
Yeah, sorry. But like, you need to make your money somehow. And so I would like basically like set us these, what do you say? Like,
was it?
Deadlines.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we need to be ready for this time. It's like, well, we're not ready. It's like, well, we're gonna be ready. And then it's like, we would put on good shows and all that, but it's like, that's not sustainable.
And they were good, but they weren't great.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're kind of focusing on moving forward, is just kind of like getting integrated into that kind of Leeds scene. And then once you're integrated in one scene, it starts spreading outwards, because the northern music scene is way better than the southern music scene. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just it's more the music that we like compared to I think London's a bit more saturated with other genres. But Leeds, from what we've seen, a lot of people are big into their music and are big into the alternative music and looking and being excited about new bands, which is what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I wouldn't disagree. I think there does seem to be, you know, not just at the moment, but I think if you probably look back, you know, over the last sort of, you know, 30, 40 years at all the, you know, kind of like the greats, probably even further back than that, you know, it does tend to be a bit more of a, like a northern powerhouse type of thing with a specific genre, you know, of music. But just sort of just rewinding a little bit, because probably around about, I think maybe like October, November time, as if you just sort of mentioned there in the intro bit, that you were still called the Qs. But you've obviously now changed your name to Coppa Londra. So why the name change then? What was the thinking behind that? Is it because you didn't feel that you were ready under the Qs to sort of go forward, and a sort of a new identity is the way to go?
I think like the Qs was a name that I came up with when we were like 17.
Right.
And then, you know, it kind of like, it's all those things where like it adds together and it makes sense. But really, it was just what it comes down, like you can look at it from a more kind of like a more like, you know, the music that we are writing as the Qs is very different to the music that we've written since we moved up to Leeds. So we probably should have changed our name as soon as we moved up to Leeds, because, you know, we'd kind of outgrown those Q songs anyway.
Yeah.
But then it just got to the point where it's like, okay, the band that we had last year, Dexter was going to Amsterdam for a little while, so we had to kind of like reassess that. And then that happening also coincided with like a couple of other members just going and finding other projects, just because either they wanted to experiment with other sounds that we weren't really experimenting with, or just the weight and the kind of uncertainty of what was going to happen.
Was they didn't want to be in a band that wasn't a band.
Yeah.
Basically.
So we had to like find new members. We found a great drummer called Joe, who's from up the roads, and a young lad called G, who is absolutely insane on the bass and just mentally, just absolutely nuts. Like, he's 19. I've never met anybody like him, man. I don't even know how to explain this. When I explain this guy to people, it just doesn't. You can't put him into words, man. It's just like he's a bare knuckle boxer who is also who works at a car factory in Crewe during the weeks, but is also like a master pianist and bass guitarist. But he doesn't listen. But he doesn't listen to any rock music really, or
he listens to like metal. Heavy
metal he listens to metal, but he plays bass guitar on our tracks. He sounds like Peter Hook from Joy Division.
Wow, so I sent him Groove Dancey, right? Yeah.
He's quality. I sent him. So I in my head, I'm like, you sound like Peter Hook. I said it to him. He was like, who's Peter Hook? So I sent him Joy Division, and he went, "This is fucking shit." He went, "This is the worst shit I've ever heard in my life." I'm like, mate, this is like you can't shit on Joy Division. You know what I mean? So,
sacrilege.
I think we just outgrew it. We outgrew the sound. We outgrew the name. We're in a different place. You need to start afresh. And also there's like, if you Google the Qs, there's like 50 bands called the Qs. I mean, there's an Italian band. There's an American band, which is like a lesbian couple that are singing songs together.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't, you know what I mean?
There's a flipping Australian band that have like a music video.
Yeah, it's got like 1 million views. You know what I mean? So it's like, we were just like, well, because that's what I'm talking about, the ego that we used to have. Yeah. We were just like, people used to say, you know, there's loads of bands called the Qs, and we were just like, yeah, well, we're the best band called the Qs. It's like, like, it's so cringe to think about that.
Yeah. And I think also with like, the Qs doesn't really mean anything, whereas Coppa Londra, what Leo used to say was that like we like the football theme within that like that kind of identity, and kind of as a kind of like cover for like art forms and like music videos. That's going to be a theme running through it. So you've got that, plus we've got Italian names, so the Coppa part comes from that.
Leonardo,
Federico,
yeah. Long answers. I'm ranting, man. I feel I'm sorry, man.
No, it's all good. You know, it's what it's all about, getting, bands. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear the stories and the reasons why and stuff like that. And I think, you're saying there, but we're the best, the Qs, out there. But in a way, personally, I quite like that, because I think that's quite important to have that self-confidence and inner belief in yourselves. Because if you're not that, if you're not that confident or whatever in doing it, I'll say it's a bad thing. But, you want to see, your indie stars, but having that confidence, bit of swagger about them, and to say, look at us, we are the dog's nuts. So yeah, do you know what I mean? So obviously the new single, I guess you'd probably say almost like the debut single in some aspects, Loosie Luna, that obviously came out last Friday, the 10th of January. It's a great song, absolutely loving it, and for me, it's one that I can see filling indie dance floors up and down the country.
Thank you, man.
Not a problem at all, and it's one that we did select today as our song of the day. And at the time of recording, I see that you've smashed it, really, to be perfectly honest with you. You've clocked up just over 3,500 Spotify streams when I was looking earlier on today. So, great achievement in such a short space of time. What's that, 3-4 days? So yeah, kind of like, how are you guys feeling, first of all, about having sort of like the debut single, so to speak, out there, but also as well like the reaction that you've had to it?
It's cool. It's really cool. Like the last song we released as the Qs.
Yeah.
I think we went in with a mate of ours to like record a whole EP, and it's that whole thing of like setting deadlines is what we were doing before, and it was like, okay, we're gonna record, because I feel like we were doing stuff to almost like fill out an ideal biography of the band. You know what I mean? Like, to be like, this is cool stuff that we do, because if people hear about it, we can be like, yeah, this is cool. You know what I mean? So we were like, we're going to record an EP over a weekend, and it's going to be an EP, a whole EP that we do then. And then we were stuck with these songs, and we were just like, we're not actually happy with these songs. You know what I mean?
It felt rushed. It felt like you didn't spend enough time on the recording process. It didn't turn out how we wanted it to turn out.
Yeah, and you can exactly. So it's like that song "Movies," which was the only song that actually made it out, which ain't that bad in hindsight, but it's not how we envisioned it, considering that was a song that me and Freddie have been playing together literally since we were like 17. That's like disheartening. And I think it's reflected by the response to it, which is like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's okay.
Yeah. Do you know, like people like giving you polite, and you know, you can tell because it's like your close friends, you post it on your story and your close friends go, they don't message you about it or they don't repost it and all that. Whereas with this one, I'm getting messages all the time, people being like, this is the best one that you've released. You know what I mean? Which you can see, and it's getting a response, which is exciting.
And I think because we've matured our sound as well, it's exciting to see that people are still rocking with it rather than of like saying, oh, why don't you go back to the more kind of like, I guess, indie sounding stuff? Because it is a more punky sound, this song, but it's still got that kind of indie feel to it, which is good.
And is Luna a made up person? Is it an observation about someone who is?
It's my lady, mate. It's
okay, right.
My missus, we moved up. When we moved up, it was the first. Another thing as well is Loosie Luna was the first song that me and him wrote when we moved up to Leeds that we like finished. Right. And it was like, it was kind of sick because I was working at I was working in an office at the time, and that's well boring. And I was writing these lyrics, and Freddie, I mean, I don't know what your process was with writing the guitar part for it.
Just messing around with stuff.
But we both had written these two separate things, and then which is something that's happened a few times with us, which is very weird, which is like we both have ideas, but this was the weirdest one because I didn't have to change the flow of how I sung the verse or chorus at all. So he just written this thing that the two things just perfectly, I didn't have to change nothing, he didn't have to change nothing, they just perfectly slotted together, which was so weird, you know what I mean? But it was like, we'd moved up to Leeds, I'd been dating this girl for a couple months who is now my girlfriend, and it was just writing the lyrics about that, and she likes it. It's nice to have a song. And then the next song that we're going to release is almost like a diss track to her because we were arguing at the time. So it's like, you've got to balance it out. Balance it out. Can't let her get too comfortable. You know what I mean? I love you, but you're still a bitch sometimes. You know what I mean?
Treat them mean to keep them keen, right? That's the old.
Yeah, exactly. That's the motto forever, man.
So you've kind of like there's sort of hinted a little bit about like the creative process. Do you think that's how it will be, like always be moving forward, almost writing the parts like separately, or do you think that you'll go like one weekend, right, come on, let's lock ourselves in a room, let's come up with some lyrics and a melody or whatever together, or do you think that it will stay how it's been so far?
Well, I think Leo, like Leo said, we have had songs where we've both gone away and done our own things and come up with not separate things, but and then kind of merged it together, and it's worked. And I think that's because we've been writing songs together for so long now that we just understand what's going to work and what's not going to work. But there has been times where some of the best songs that we think we've written have just happened spontaneously. We've just been sitting in the living room or whatever, and I've just picked up a guitar and played something, and then Leo's gone, I've got something for that. Let's do it. Let's get it down. Yeah. But in terms of locking ourselves away and having like a writing session, I don't think we're those types of people.
I think that comes with time. I also think it's like right now as well, it's like it's you're focusing on practicing and getting this really tight set for playing live and all that, and it's like those kinds of things, I think, come with the financial aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. So it's like everything that we have is based around practicing, getting it tight, and doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think it's something that would happen possibly as we grow. And also, like, we know that the other lads in the bands want to get involved with the songwriting process. It's just because me and him live together, which is this, you know, like, it was the best thing that happened for us, I reckon, as the thing just moving in together, because it's literally just like, you got your fucking songwriting partner, he's upstairs, I'm downstairs, and anytime someone has an idea, it's like, I've got this idea. So it's, you know,
it's done a lot for our creative process and our songwriting process.
Yeah, we're like Bert and Ernie, we just wake up together, and then, you know, out of the little thing, just a couple, and we're just like, do you want to write a song? It's nice, man.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very
brilliant. So let's talk a little bit about live music. It's obviously looking likely that March 2024 is going to be sort of pretty busy for you, really. Obviously, you've got Coppa Londra have got your sort of couple of live dates lined up. You've got a headline show, I believe, as well, and you're also supporting friends of the podcast, Vivas, as well, on some of their UK tour dates as well, I believe. So, yeah, how excited are you to be getting out and playing live?
Yeah, it's cool, man, because it'll be the first with the two new boys. They're quality, new energy, new songs. We've kind of started, like, because we've been writing so much, we've kind of started wheedling out those old cues songs. So now it's just songs that we've written within the last like year, like very fresh, still fun to play. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think our goal going forwards, like I said earlier, like in terms of just trying to get integrated into the Leeds music scene, is just going to be like opening for those bands that have a bigger following, and kind of just and just trying to kind of like
get your name out there, prove yourself,
and also just meet other bands and stuff, and just like start building a relationship with those people. Just because, you know, you want to be part of a kind of community and a scene, and you know, because that's to me is one of the most exciting things about alternative music, which I think, and just music in general, to be fair, when you had like, you know, and I think it's something that like kind of music journalism. I remember, like, when I used to read the NME, it would be like they would try to like force a scene out of like a few people make similar music. When it happens actually kind of organically, and it's like, okay, there are all these kind of bands. Like, I don't know if you're into like Black Country New Road and those bands from like from a few years ago, but you had like some really great bands coming out of South London like 4 or 5 years ago, and that was just, they just played at the same place, and it just kind of grew out of that. And I think once you have that, you can all help each other, and it kind of like, and that's the type of thing that I think last year, just from kind of like arrogance more than anything, we were kind of against, and we're just trying to like just trying to
be more friendly,
trying to be nice, man. I'm too competitive. Like, last year it would just be like another band would play, and it'd be like, I hate them. They fucking, you know what I mean? It's just not nice more than anything.
And it was detrimental to us, really.
Yeah, it's just been a dick, to be honest. More than anything. So like that's the plan going forward. I don't know too much about Vivas. Like Ralph, our manager Ralph, found us that gig. Is like, have you seen them live before? Like, what's their
I've not seen them live personally, so literally just sort of through, you know, coming across them on the socials, really. But they're sort of good
on Instagram. Really, got some tunes, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. Last year they had a big open. Well, they were supporting Def Leppard and somebody else. Motley Crue last year at Bramall Lane.
His dad. If we told his dad that we were opening for Def Leppard, he would cream himself. He would. That is mad.
Yeah, I would become the favourite son.
Yeah.
I'm currently the favourite son, but I'm not his son.
So yeah, you know, they've got a good sound going on, and I think they're definitely building up, their sort of presence on social media, but also as well, I think now they're looking kind of like what you were saying yourselves earlier, actually, about, you want to get established in Leeds in your own bit, but which I think they probably have got that now. But obviously now they're looking to try and expand and get out a little bit more, across the UK. But have you got any like pre-gig rituals that you need to go through? Would there be any sort of pre-gig nerves or anything like that at all? Or you just sort of
his is
got that
usually
in
like 6 or 7 pints. And
I think I'm trying to. So that's the thing. Like I get smashed and Freddie don't drink anything.
Yeah, it's two complete opposites.
Yeah. So he's like locked in.
Yeah,
and
I'm that's it.
Shitting my pants, you know what I mean? Physically and figuratively. But no, I think that's another thing as well. Just like, I think like with the last band, it was like you were nervous because it was your first time on stage and that, and it's like
we didn't gain any momentum.
Really. Yeah, not really. But I think like for me, like at the time I was like, I'm performing in front of my friends, like of course I'm gonna get smashed. And it was more kind of like self-preservation out of anything. Because if you play shit, it's just like because I was smashed. Yeah. But moving forward, I think I'm gonna have to come up with some new rituals. Yeah. Like a detox and some avocado on toast or something like that. Just like probably prepare for it.
Brilliant, great stuff. So here at This Is The Music, we like to shine a light on rising bands and artists like Coppa Londra. Coppa Londra. No, fucking hell, I want to start that.
No, that was it. That was it. You were there.
Mark.
Proper tongue twister here, dear oh dear. Teeth back in. Coppa Londra. There we go. Right. So 3, 2, 1. So as you know, at This Is The Music, we like to shine a light on rising bands and artists like Coppa Londra, who trying to establish themselves on the new music scene. So kind of like looking across 2023, what bands or artists caught your eye?
Bar Italia are good. Their new album, The Twits, is good. I found a band. They're not a new band actually. They released an album in like 2020, but they're an American band called Infinity Song.
Right.
They got a tune I found a few days before or after Christmas. Sorry, we keep getting this pop up about viruses. Our battle technology. But now there's a band called Infinity Song. And they released a song. They're like an American band. They released a song called "Haters Anthem," and it's basically them just like singing about how fun it is to hate on other people, which really like spoke to me as a better man. You know what I mean? They're great. I don't know who you've been listening to.
Well, we've been listening to a song called Silver Lines.
Oh, that's a tune. Who's that by?
It's by a band called Sheer Mag. I don't know if it's a new song. I think it's fairly new in terms of the last few years it's been out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found that not too long ago before the year ended. And
yeah, that is a tune.
In terms of like a new bands that I've listened to.
I showed it to our mate Matt, who and while he was very drunk. And he gave his review. He was like, "It's like 90s guitar with 80s vocals. It's just outstanding." And I was like, "That's pretty smart for a man that's like, close to throwing up." Yeah. It's a pretty good review actually. Yeah. What about you? What have you been listening to this year?
Oh, blimey. So much. Lock-In. Love those guys. San Quentin. Who else we're listening to? The Utopiates as well. They've established similar to yourselves actually. London based, but now up in Leeds as well.
Oh, nice.
Who else? The Heavy North. From Liverpool.
I heard Heavy North.
Yeah, they're really, really good. Should recommend you see them live. The Kairos. Who else? Fiona Lennon as well. Megan Wen. Who else is there? Lissy Taylor. Marseille. Massive fan of those boys. Had them on the podcast quite recently. And the Shed Project as well. There's so much great music out there at the moment, and it's a really exciting time for the sort of new music British guitar scene. And as far as I'm concerned, long may it continue as well. So let's talk a little bit about football. Leo, I think you're a Tottenham supporter, and Freddie, I believe that you are a Chelsea fan. Leo,
I believe you are a rent boy.
We do our research. We have ways of finding out on this. But Leo, I'll come to you first. Yeah, how do you think the season's going so far?
Oh, mate, Ange's the man. I love him. No, it's good, man. I mean, like, I think he's gonna do great things. To be honest, I can see players. I mean, like, I know United is shit, but like he was like Oliver Skip was actually playing balls forward yesterday. And I was like, what kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I've watched Oliver Skip under Pochettino, Conte, Mourinho, Santos, and then like Ryan Mason about 5 times. You know what I mean? And I've never seen Oliver Skip play a forward pass, and Ange Postecoglou got on doing that. So in my book, he is the greatest manager of all time. Just for that alone. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with Spurs. Now let's pay our attention.
Let's go the other way.
Let's throw our attention.
Do you even need to ask me the question?
Well, the question was going to be: you've the club have spent £1 billion effectively in the last 18 months or so.
I've been made aware by every single person that.
Yeah, you don't get off scot-free.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got where are you? You're mid-table-ish.
Yeah,
I mean,
9th or 8th or something.
Yeah, yes, smashing it up the league. I mean, what is it the manager's fault? You know that they're not. You know, obviously, I know there's a weird committee going on with them.
Sorry, at the beginning of the season, I was giving him a lot of like leeway because I think it was still a fresh team. We bought all these players and expecting him to do something with it, and it's getting to that point now where I'm starting to question the manager, not just the players, because the players don't look like they want to play. And these players, we may have overpaid for them, but because I think some of them haven't yet been proven and we got robbed. Brighton did us dirty, realistically, with our goalkeeper, and Caicedo at the moment is not worth his weight in shit. But apart from that, they are quality players. I do see it from time to time that there's stuff there, but as the season's gone on, I've not seen progression. I've seen it just be stagnant, like it was under Potter, like it was under fucking Lampard.
Yeah,
it's twice. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same shit. Yeah, you fucking get your laughs in. Get your fucking laughs in.
Oh my god! Do you know what? Pochettino is a very overrated manager. And as a Tottenham fan, you say that to other Tottenham fans, they go, "No, he's not. He's not good. He's not a good manager. He doesn't make good signings." I watched the FA Cup final against them, and he played Heung-min Son as a left back against Victor Moses, and we lost the game. And everyone wants to tell me he's a good manager. He's not a good manager. He's always been shit. And then it's like he got all these young players, which is essentially what he did at Spurs. But you know, if you look at the teams that everybody had, like Man City, those seasons that we were playing well, they had dropped off. Chelsea was shit for a while, then they got Conte and it kind of picked up again. But it's like we were the best of a really bad kind of era of the Premier League for like 3 or 4 years, and he still didn't win it. We had the consistently best striker, we had the best defense, we had Vertonghen, Walker, Danny Rose, and Alderweireld. It was the best defense for like 3 years in a row. We were undefeated at home, and we still didn't win the league. He's not a good manager. He's shit, and I'm so happy that he's gone to Chelsea, bigged them up, and is probably going to get the sack in about 6 months. You know what I mean? But you're a West Ham boy, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say you come third in a 2-horse race, didn't you, for the league that year, the battle of the pitch and all that. But
actually.
Don't worry, Freddie. I'll get some digs back in there for you.
Yeah, loving it.
But yeah, no, I am. I'm a West Ham fan. Yeah, pretty happy to be fair, for the most part.
Where are you in the league?
We're sixth at the minute, so I think we're 4 or 5 points off of you boys, Tottenham. Yeah, disappointed with the League Cup quarter-final against Liverpool, where we put out a weakened team, and Liverpool weren't that strong, and I think we had a chance of trying to progress, but we obviously got thumped. But yeah, I mean, overall,
during the FA Cup as well.
Yeah, we've got the
Bristol
replay, Bristol City tomorrow night, and that was. I mean, I went. I don't go very often, but I went for the original tie, and it was pretty dire. It has to be said. And
did you put out a weekend team for that as well?
No, he went strong. He went really strong. I think the only one, probably two players were unavailable that would have probably played. Kudus, he's gone off to the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, he's been
and then different class. I think if the African Cup of Nations wasn't this year and he had a full season, I don't think he'd be at West Ham like come the start of the following year. I think, one of the big boys, different class, really good. And unfortunately, probably him and now, Paquetá and Bowen both getting injured in that last game. We're looking a bit threadbare. We haven't actually got Bowen's not a recognised centre forward anyway as such, but
he's been good for you this season though.
Really good. Really good player.
He was horrible when we played you and we were 1-0 up and he beat us 2-1.
Yeah.
That was I mean, that was us dealing with all those injuries and that and trying to like get our footing after like our team fell apart against Chelsea. But that's just bad. Yeah, how many points we ahead of you by? Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, don't worry. We beat you again in your cup final. What can I say? So I'm going to throw some sort of quick fire questions, some quick fire questions at you now. But so the first one is, what band, or maybe it was a solo artist, sort of were your biggest influence when you were growing up, and do they still have that sort of same influence, sort of inspiration on you now?
Okay. Yeah, I think when I was growing up, my dad grew up in the 70s, so he listened to like a lot of Led Zeppelin and kind of like a lot of heavy metal, but still I'd love for like the Beatles and all those sorts of bands. I'd say probably I did love Led Zeppelin growing up. They're probably my favorite band for a long time. They're still up there now, but I'd say since I started listening to indie music, my favorite kind of like indie band has probably been the Libertines.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
My favorite over the last like 10 years or so. I've loved listening to them, and I've got more into them recently.
That's mad. I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
What?
You learn something new. It's like a triple date. It's cute.
Yeah.
I've never heard you say that actually. I know you like him and that, but I never.
In terms of like an influence in guitar playing and just the sound in general, it's just like absolutely love it.
Yeah. Colbert, fucking good. He's a good guitarist. Pete Doherty's a great guitarist as well.
Yeah, both of them
they're great.
Yeah,
they are good.
I think every band kind of wishes they sound like the Libertines. Every UK band anyway at the moment, if you want to be a good indie band, that's like a good benchmark to go for.
Yeah, they kind of like they started the kind of like the generation of rock music that I love the most, because I grew up with it with my parents, is like that mid-2000s. And the Libertines kind of started that, but then no one really, I suppose with a sound like the Libertines, it's like if you sound like the Libertines, you're not going to have your own sound, because the Libertines sound so much within themselves. But then it's like, the band that made me want to be in a band, and it literally like, I remember it and it fucking changed the chemistry of my brain, is when I heard A Certain Romance by Arctic Monkeys for the first time. And it like blew my mind. And I just it was the first time I ever got like goosebumps over a tune. I was like 10 or 11. And then I was like, I want to be in a band. I need to be in a band. And I would say they're my favorite bands, but like I don't think I look to them for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like probably you with Led Zeppelin. It's like,
I loved them growing up, and it was like,
it's like that was the
band that got me into like that sort of music.
Really.
Yeah.
Guitar-based music, and then like going forward, what I listen to is more based around the kind of like Libertine sound.
Yeah, I love the Lars.
The Lars are great. Yeah,
the Lars are like they're my that was another. I think that's what happens. It's just like you have through your parts of your life, you have like the new. It kind of as you change, you find the new thing that you kind of like attach yourself to. I just think Lee Mathers is the bollocks, man. I think he's just different. It's just like the thing with the Lars is just like they use all the same components that everybody else does. It's guitar, it's rhythm guitar, lead guitar, bass guitar, drums. That's all it is. But it just sounds different. Like it's everything that should be run of the mill rock music, like
it just talks to you.
Rock music, but it just doesn't sound like it. It sounds like something completely different. Like it's, and I think what got like I started listening to the Lars because I heard Liam Gallagher talk about him, and he said that Lee Mathers is the closest to Lennon. And I mean, like I love the Beatles as much as the next guy, but it's like, but I see what he means by that, just because Lee Mathers did so much with like just very simple things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
he did a lot with a whole lot of nothing, realistically.
Yeah.
Like some of the songs are so simple, but they're still so complex. Like learning the songs are just like blows your mind.
Yeah, his strumming patterns are just mad.
Yeah, and it's something that actually, when you're talking about like influence on my guitar playing, Leo can probably tell you there's so many songs I've tried to write that sounds like any sort of resemblance to Lee Mathers' strumming patterns.
Yeah.
I think I learned a couple of Lars songs, and then a lot of my strumming patterns since then have been based around that kind of bouncy, folky kind of sound that they get.
And that's the thing as well. But it's like that's how good they are. Like you can write a song that sounds like this band or that band and that band. It's like okay, that's like you can go like, oh, that sounds like them. But I've tried to write loads of songs on guitar that sound like the Lars. I know you have as well. They don't sound like the Lars. Like the Lars are just their own.
Yeah, you couldn't try to write a song like the Lars.
Yeah, it's very underrated band, man. Most underrated. It's like because they got one album. Have you listened to their unreleased stuff?
I've listened to bits and pieces of it, not all of it. But I love the radio sessions in particular off of that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Quality.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's just like I know for you as well. It was like for a couple of years, like an obsession. It would be like you find like a tiny bootleg, like you find like a YouTube video or like a thing in like a compilation of like a last that didn't get released. I mean, Tone Garvey. There's a YouTube channel called Tone Garvey, and he releases a load of like the stuff that would have been on their second album, and like. The most frustrating thing is the stuff that would have been on their second album would have been a better album. Yeah, it would have been a better album than the first one. It's just the most frustrating thing ever. But yeah, Lars and the Libertines.
Yeah.
There we go.
I can see that actually.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because
can I ask you a question? Because we've got a few reviews for this new tune, and I don't hear it in myself. But I get compared my voice to Pete Doherty a lot, and I don't think I sound anything like Pete Doherty. Do you hear that, or is that just?
No, I don't think your voice does. I think that you can hear the influence of the Libertines on the like the overall sound, like the guitar and all of that, but not the vocal. No, no, definitely not. But I think just going back to the Lars, I think one of the things with that is one album, obviously an era where there wasn't bootlegs or anything like that as such.
Yeah.
I think that's just built up this. Trying to think of the right word, but like momentum and sort of belief in them, and I mean undoubtedly, and I think that that album still sounds as fresh and exciting. If you put it on today, it still sounds as exciting 100%. Now. It stood the test of time, and I think there's a lot of bands that have come after them that were bigger, but you couldn't necessarily go, oh yeah, do you remember that album from X, Y, Z? So I think that sort of gives their sort of legacy a little bit. So the next question is, if you could only listen to 4 albums, you're stranded on a desert island, 4 albums that you'd have to listen to until you were rescued. I don't know how long that's going to be, by the way. But yeah, 4 albums. Who you choose?
4 albums.
4 albums. Yeah. I've thought about. I have this. See, I'm trying to like not just belt them out because I know what the answer to this is. It's my 4 favorite albums are Stone Roses debut, Lars debut, Kanye West College Dropout, Plastic Beach Gorillas. Those are my 4 favorite albums.
Nice. Nice, good choices.
Thank you.
Mine's
Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3.
I was tempted.
Brilliant.
No. My dad would be at home, fist pump in the air. Get in.
That's my boy.
That's my boy right there. Yeah. No, Led Zeppelin 2, Revolver.
That's good.
The Libertines' second album.
The Libertines.
Oh. The Libertines, yeah.
That's what's called.
That's what's called. Yeah, Upright. And then, what's the last one? Probably Pixies' Doolittle, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
He's changing now.
That's my fifth one. That's my fifth one, I reckon. But that's good. That was good.
Yeah. To be fair, really, yeah. But both lists are great. I'm really liking them, definitely.
What's your list, Mark?
Oh, blimey. Probably Morning Glory.
Yeah,
definitely, maybe. Don't Believe the Truth. Put that in there. There's a theme going, a bit like Led Zeppelin.
Oasis fan, yeah.
No,
I would have felt bad if I said Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4 now.
I'll take Morning Glory out. We'll leave Don't Believe the Truth in there, because that's a better album, I think, than what people.
It is a better album. Oh, yeah, mate,
100%.
Let There Be Love. Let There Be Love is better than any song on What's the Story, Morning Glory. My dad's a big Oasis fan.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up on that.
Yeah. I think what else, man? Probably Revolver. Obviously Stone Roses debut's great. And the Stones album, which I'm struggling to think. I'm really digging Let It Bleed at the minute. To be fair, sort of giving that a little spin recently. So I'll probably go with them, I think.
Yeah, fairs. I do love a bit of Oasis.
Yeah, it can't go wrong. I mean, clearly.
I saw it in Nebworth with my dad. I went to we went to the Nebworth show that Liam Gallagher did.
Yeah.
Which too many of his songs, personally. I think he's just like, yeah, man. Because a lot of his songs are like ballady, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of him kind of singing like slower songs, whatever. I'm sure if you're like a proper die-hard Oasis fan, just hearing Liam's voice is banging. But it's like, I want those faster, you know what I mean? Like if you're in a giant crowd of people, you don't want to be standing still, you want to be like jumping up, you know what I mean? But that was definitely good, man.
What did you think about the collab that he's done with John Squire? Did you like that?
I haven't listened to that.
I haven't listened to that either.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, no, give it a listen. I personally, I think it's really good. It's kind of like what you'd expect from John Squire in terms of the the guitar solos and stuff and the melody. I mean, to be fair, Liam's voice sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it's a better song. I think some people are giving it a bit of a kick in, but I think that's probably because they just ate Liam and John in general. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's a good tune. I think if it is, maybe had been on one of those, either Oasis or Stone Roses albums like back in the day, I think it would have got a lot more love. What he's done.
What a tune is from his last album, the one where it's the one where he's talking about the Lion's Den or whatever. I can't remember what it's called.
Blimey, you put me right on the spot there.
Yeah, I know, it's not a quiz. But
I don't like it when it's the other way round.
Yeah, sorry, I'm asking too many questions, but I don't know if you were prepared for that. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that's a tune. That sounded like old Oasis, and I rated that. But yeah, what were you saying before? Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's no, you're all good. It's all good. Have you guys ever had a dream where you were performing with a famous musician or band, and who was it?
Yeah, Shakira. I was sat on a chair, but she was scantily clad. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I can't. God, what would you?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I had dreams of playing with someone, but like while I'm listening to a song, I had it all throughout my childhood. I'd imagine myself playing with the band.
Yeah. Right. He's got the full Kiss makeup.
Yeah. Tongue out. Like,
yeah. I like I'd love to do a Gorillaz collaboration. I think that would be sick, personally. And I've been to see Gorillaz like 2-3 times. And the best thing about them is because a lot of their songs are reliant on their features.
Yeah.
So obviously when they play a big show, it needs to coincide with other people's schedules. So every time I've seen them live, they play a completely different show. So it's like, and because I'm a big fan of a lot of their discography, you don't feel hard done by, because it's like, oh, this one's very Demon Days heavy, and it's like, oh, but I love that album. This one's very Plastic Beach heavy, but it's fine because I love that album. You know what I mean? So I'd like to do a collaboration with Gorillaz. I reckon I could do something weird with them one day, maybe. And yeah, probably that.
Brilliant. And kind of like then sort of I guess the final question from me. What else can we expect to see from Coppa Londra during 2024?
We got a song called Starting Fires coming out. I don't know if we're gonna release it before we start playing gigs again, or like a little bit before.
Maybe in summer.
No, I don't know. I was talking to Ralph, like, I don't know, a few months. That's the thing with being independent. Like, you can just drop it when you fancy it. You know what I mean? You don't have to. If we do it in summer, then we'll do it in summer.
Yeah.
If we do it in a few months, but we'll make sure to let you know, Mark.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
But it's called Starting Fires. It's a bit slower. It's a bit like more calm.
Yeah, a bit chill.
Some acoustic. But we did both the songs. I don't think we mentioned. We did both with a fella called Gordon Raphael, and he produced the first 3 Strokes albums. Yeah. So that was a cool thing that we did. I think we did it to do it, to say that we worked with Gordon Raphael. We want to work with him. But yeah, so there's another. So we recorded 2 songs with him, and this will be the second one coming out. And then I don't know when we're gonna get back into the studio again. We're gonna focus on live shows for a little bit, I reckon.
Yeah, so, just practicing getting tight.
And just getting out there, playing as many gigs as possible. But if you're out in Leeds, look out for us and come and see us, because it's sounding good so far. So we're gonna, we're gonna put on a good show when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? So yeah. And if we're in London, we'll give you a shout and you can come along. You can come see us, because we're London boys. We play gigs in London. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you should come along. Bring the lads. Bring the West End lads.
Absolutely. No, definitely. Well, look, I'll hopefully that does happen, and I'll be able to catch you live at some point, either this year or next year, whenever it's going to be. But Leo and Freddie, thanks very much for coming on. This is the music.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Cheers for having us on.
I've really haven't stopped laughing, to be honest. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Really, really good. But before I do let you go, can you just let the This Is The Music listeners know where they can find Coppa Londra on the old socials?
So we are Coppa Londra. So that's COPPA LONDRA. And we're on Instagram, and that's on Instagram, and it's just Coppa Londra, and then we're on Spotify, Apple Music, all that,
and TikTok as well.
TikTok, yeah,
we're on TikTok. We're slowly but surely
taking over
that piece of technology.
Yeah.
It's not a strong suit, as you can probably tell.
Yeah. See, the thing is, the guy that manages us is a year younger than us, and you think that wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it does, because I feel like there's just that cut-off point where it's like the idea of TikTok just makes me want to smash my head through a wall, you know what I mean? But he's like, no, all the kids are using TikTok. This is how they find their music, and I'm like, oh, stupid kids, you know what I mean? Because like, I'm 23, so I'm just now basically. So TikTok, we're on TikTok as well, and that's Coppa Londra. So yeah, just give us a listen. Yeah, listen to Loosie Luna. It's good. Mark, say it's good. Tell them it's good. Tell them it's really good, and then I'll listen to it.
Well,
that is good.
I do totally agree. I think it's better than good. I think it's great.
Mark.
And we're going to put all of those links to the socials in the episode bio, as well as the link as well to Loosie Luna. Look, Freddie and Leo, thanks very much for coming on. As I said before, it's been a great laugh, and I've really enjoyed actually getting to find out a little bit about the backstory of well, obviously the Qs first of all, but obviously now Coppa Londra as well. Thanks so much for being great guests, and yeah, look, I wish you continued success with the new single Loosie Luna, and also as well those upcoming gigs that we spoke about as well earlier on in the episode.
Yeah, nice one, man.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next tune. Let's do it again.
Yeah,
I've loved it.
It's been great fun, honestly.
Brilliant, great to hear, and I'm sure that we can get that sorted.
Yeah,
nice one, mate.
Nice one.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for tuning in to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any future episodes. And if you're loving the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the bands and artists we interview to be discovered. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you somewhere down the road.